I'm here to now do something that's very, very important, which is to introduce our 2011 Intelligent Community Visionary of the Year. For those of you who are new to us, when you walked in here this afternoon, you saw photos of men and women who had been named Visionary of the Year by the Intelligent Community Forum. What those people represent is the entire movement, and for us, they represent the vision and the path ahead. They were and remain the first movers of the image of the intelligent community movement, in that they understood intuitively in some cases how broadband could be used not just for technological purposes, but to enable the full human experience and to take technology to the place where it needs to go in our communities, which is in service of the human, expressing themselves creatively, spiritually, economically, and within their family structures. So these are the people who lead the world to where it is going to go and where we are now beginning to see communities follow. So it is a very, very, should I say, austere group of people who really have seen the future without anybody blazing the path ahead of them. They blaze it for us. This year, I'm just delighted to have been able to name a woman from Finland as our Intelligent Community Visionary of the Year. Suvi Linden, for me, represents precisely where I think the intelligent community movement is headed and where broadband has always been headed, as essential to the human endeavor. She not only says it and talks about it like I do, she actually enabled legislation to go through a parliament so that it could take place, in her country, and then through her work with an international body for the rest of the world to then realize. Suvi Linden became Finland's Minister of Communications in 2007. Prior to that, she was the Minister of Culture, kind of a nice combination, technology and culture, things we've been talking about over the last couple of days. As Minister, she has chaired the Ubiquitous Information Society Advisory Board, where she led the preparation for her nation's digital agenda with its 9-year plan. During her first term, Finland became the first country on Earth to ensure affordable broadband access to every citizen. That followed a larger strategy to make broadband a basic right for every citizen, and she has done that. She serves as a member of the United Nations Broadband Commission for Digital Development, which is great because we'll get to see her more in New York, and is the Commissioner of the UN's Advisory Board of the Digital Health Initiative. Finland was the first country in the world to ensure that legislation that all citizens, irrespective of their place of residence or level of income, had the opportunity to use digital services, good, reasonably priced services. By transforming broadband into something that is a human right, she has changed the dialogue in the world and has changed the way people are going to think about broadband. Now it will be considered as essential as oxygen, as essential as the electrical grid, as essential as the air we breathe if we are going to educate our children, make our governments more responsive, make our societies more civil and open, and do all of the things that we need to do to be a more innovative economy. She has enabled that dialogue to begin and for that thought to change around the world. We just hope that the work that we do together with her will rise up to the national level in every nation on earth, so that every country can do what she and our other visionaries have done, which is to make it real around the world. You can always tell that you're the head of a movement when you're rejected. She was a member of Parliament for 16 years, but as many of you know, given the political conditions in Finland, which aren't very good, she was recently turned out of office in April. She's in good company, though. I remind you, Madam Linden, that American President Clinton lost the race for governor in Arkansas, and he turned out to be okay. We know him today as the person who runs the Clinton Global Initiative, which is saving lives across the world. I talked about World War II. Those of you who have read your history books know that Winston Churchill, the great leader in England, was turned out of office after World War II. And more importantly, I failed in my campaign to be elected to the student council while in 8th grade. So you are in very good company. She is, for background, married with one child and is a fixture in the Finnish community. It is my great honor to say to her the second word that I know in Finnish, aside from sauna, which is onneksi olakone. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Suvi Linden of Finland.
Mr. Chairman, Lou, Robert, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, information society visionaries. First, I would like to extend my warmest thanks to the Intelligent Community Forum for this recognition. I cannot describe how pleased and proud it made me feel. At the same time, I do realize that this award is also in recognition of my country's communications policy, which has a long history behind it, not to mention a huge number of people, organizations, and businesses. I come from the Finnish city of Oulu, a university city renowned for its technological expertise. Oulu is also very open-minded in creating digital services for citizens. It provides a free Wi-Fi service to all citizens available at all public places. Action like this promotes equal usage of electronic services among people and serves as a good example of how we can benefit from the digital development. I think this is an example that every city should follow. I hope to see Oulu someday member of this very warm, interesting community. Also, Oulu is at this moment experiencing same kind of drastic socio-economic change as Eindhoven, since Oulu is a city of Nokia, city of Nokia's research center, and we all know what's happening in the field of mobile phones at this moment and Nokia, and I think that Oulu might have a lot of things to learn from this community and from Eindhoven, for example. During the past decade, our world has been transformed dramatically by the development of ICT, by the innovations and new business models it has spawned, and by the new ways of communicating it has given rise to, particularly social media. We have moved to an online economy in which the internet and the infrastructures behind it are at the core of the whole economy and our social life. This change can be regarded as a way to promote democracy. It is impossible to live in a closed society nowadays. The telecommunications infrastructure increases openness and awareness in society. Looking forward, it is easy to predict that the pace is accelerating. If we think about the technology behind broadband, the new devices, supercomputers, and the diverse applications of nanotechnology, it gives us tremendous promise for a better future. Services, however, such as open data, cloud services, social media, and a huge amount of rising new apps give us even greater promise than technological development. Finnish politicians have understood the social and economic importance of high-quality communication services. We have successfully opened up telecommunication markets for competition much earlier than many other European countries. Compared to the rest of Europe, our telecom services have the lowest prices, yet investments from telecommunications companies has remained high. However, this does not mean that we can rest on our laurels. We are well aware that we must take constant action to keep on developing all aspects of the information society if we are to maintain the competitiveness of our society, industry, and the entire economy on a global scale. Ladies and gentlemen, it is pretty obvious that without good and extensive telecommunication networks, e-services cannot be devised. A bigger challenge is how to ensure that all people, especially senior citizens, have the skills they need to cope in an increasingly technical world. It is highly important to develop well-designed and user-friendly services while ensuring that all individuals have equal rights to learning, individual learning paths, and the use of up-to-date ICT devices. The population is aging very quickly in the developed countries. We are used to getting high-quality healthcare services, but in the future, they will be faced with increasing challenges. With good e-health tools, we can respond to the increasing demands of the aging population. By exploiting e-health services, we can reach remarkable economic savings while maintaining the high quality of care. In Finland, we asked ourselves whether we could further develop the information society without adequate broadband access for every citizen. The quite obvious answer was, no, we cannot do it. This was the starting point for the idea that decent broadband access should become a universal service. Telecom operators subject to the universal service application must provide permanent residents with a 1 megabit per second connection at a reasonable price. The Finnish universal service concept is technologically neutral, which means that the connection can be provided through any network, including mobile, wireless, fixed, and satellite. In accordance with our legislation, the universal service connection needs to be affordable to the customer. Furthermore, considering future demands, the aim of our broadband action plan is for practically all permanent residencies to be no more than 2 kilometers from an optical fiber cable network permitting at least 100 megabit per second connections by the end of 2015. This target is very ambitious, but I think also realistic. Technology is developing so fast. In order to reach it, some public funding is required, which means a change of philosophy in our telecommunication policy. We have always felt that when the markets are working, the telecom operators, the private sector will do the infrastructure. But with the fiber and the sparsely populated areas, this is the challenge, and I think that we need public money for that. Ladies and gentlemen, good telecom infrastructure is not important only for us. The role of it is becoming more and more crucial for the developing countries, increasing quality of the life and economic growth. We are discussing now how we could reach the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. Actually, some people are asking, did we set the objectives too high? The International Telecommunication Union and UNESCO established the Broadband Commission for Digital Development in an effort to boost the attainment of these goals. Like Lou told, I have a pleasure to be member of this commission, and the work is very challenging and interesting. In my opinion, mobile connections are the solution to the attainment of the Millennium Development Goals. In developed countries, broadband access can be seen more as a legal right and something that has to be governed by law. The Broadband Commission likes to see broadband more as a human right. It is almost like a key to citizenship, especially in developing countries. With good broadband connections, services are more widely available to people. Electronic authentication enables an easy access to services that otherwise might be even 100 kilometers away, but not, or even not be available at all. With high broadband connectivity, governments have a remarkable opportunity to unleash the creativity and curiosity of their citizens and industry to invent, innovate, and invest in jobs. In addition, growth, productivity, and long-term economic competitiveness will be gained with the help of bottom-up market-led models. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, no one can be left outside the day-to-day functioning of the information society. Broadband needs to be regarded as an instrument in creating sustainable socio-economic development, not as an end itself. The future will rely on broadband-enabled platforms. I really honor the work of Intelligent Community Forum as an important platform for communities to learn the importance of ICT as an enabler to keep up the socio-economic structural changes we all are facing. I have experienced that ICF is a very warm-hearted community, so warm-hearted that when you get in, you don't want to go out or leave it. And actually, all the members of this community are very privileged to be able to be part of it. I want to wish all of you very good luck in the future with the challenging works you are doing. You are representing communities, and whatever governments do, we can make legislation, we can regulate, we can even try to order. But it's up to you how things are going to develop. It's up to the community. It's how they make broadbands available, and especially content that broadbands can provide available for their citizens. Take the leadership, and I think all the members here have already taken, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But hopefully this message can be brought to all those communities who still are thinking that, is it necessary to put money on telecom infrastructure? Is it necessary to consider telecom infrastructure important asset? I have to say that I have faced that in Finland we still have many communities who are thinking this way, since this 2015 plan includes the idea that communities, they have to put some money of their own to be able to take care of the last households in sparsely populated areas. And too often still they say to me that at this moment we don't have any money in our budget, we have to wait. We have to wait a couple more years and then maybe it's time for this. Instead of saying that this is the way we can get our economy boost up when we do good telecom infrastructure for our citizens and start to provide public services more efficient way using ICT as an enabler. Thank you. I'm very honored.